Back here on the bonus round on GameTrailers.com with Michael Pachter, Michael McWhirter, and Garnet Lee. We've gone through the typical entrants in the console and software space for the holidays. Now we are going to turn to a new one who is only doing some beta stuff this fall, but it's the Steam machines from Valve. Long rumored, they finally a few weeks ago announced three things: the Steam OS, the Steam machines, and their fancy new Steam controller. Let's start with you, Michael McWhirter. Are you excited about what Valve's talking about here?
Sure, I'm super excited. I mean, you know, I love Steam. I love Valve's games in particular. I love the services that they provide.
Yep.
You get some really great deals through Steam. They're always at the forefront of adding new and interesting features that people like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo pretty blatantly copy.
Yeah.
And it's usually to our benefit. In terms of Steam Machine, I'm a little concerned about the message that they have in terms of, you know, we're going to have a Linux-based box that you put in the living room that streams some games from your PC or your Mac, but you can also got these other games that are Linux games that run on the machine. And like, you know, what's that argument? Like, why would I pick up a dedicated box that could be $300 to $800? We have no idea how much it's going to cost because a bunch of people are making it, and that further confuses the message a little bit. You know, what's the real benefit to me for buying that? Is it Half-Life 3 that they're finally going to release next year? And
Do we know this is a fact?
Is going to be a compelling argument for me to pick up a Steam machine and a Steam controller? Like, why would I want to do that? I mean, like, I can see it. I would like to play a lot of Steam games that are only on the PC on my living room TV, but I could go do that now. Like, what's the point? Why do I want to do that? And I think that that's what they still have to answer. I think that, you know, when Steam itself was released, we didn't really see the value proposition in the software. It seemed like more of a hassle, but now it's really grown into a very useful, you know, popular service. And you know, that may take 10 years for them to figure out what Steam machine is going to be in the living room, but it's going to be an interesting ride.
Is this, from a business perspective, Michael, do you think is this going to be disruptive when this comes out?
I don't, unless they do something bold, like tell you if you want to play Half-Life 3, you got to do it on a Steam machine, and you have to use Steam OS.
I can't imagine that.
And they're not going to do that.
No, I don't either, because I think they'll sell 25 million copies of Half-Life. But if money doesn't motivate them, if greatness motivates them, then that's the way I think that they sell it.
Right.
I mean, they have a potential to have Half-Life 3 be their halo and turn their Steam box into a brand. I don't think they'll do that, and I'm with you. I'm not sure why I need it. Like
Or which one you even need.
Yeah,
I wonder how many people there are like me out there. So, you know, I think I'm sort of a unique case in that I used to be enough of a PC enthusiast that I built my own machines for forever. Always built my own machine. And I got to the point this last time around that I was like, you know, I'm just going to buy an off-the-shelf gaming rig. I bought it from a good builder. It was hardly any more expensive than what it would have cost me to put it together. But that puts me in the same position of now, I think that it would be really cool if I could have some sort of inexpensive device to put underneath my TV to get all those games, to use big picture. Because I have this big hunkin' box, and I'm not going to put it over by my entertainment center. But how many people are there like me? Because I think that most people who have that big honkin' box are also the people who are, you know, technically savvy enough that they'll figure out how to get big picture running on their TV, whether it's a long HDMI or they pull it over there and build an HTTP PC or whatever they do, that they don't really need a Steam box. I look at Steam box and go, yeah, sure. If it's a couple $300 and I can put it underneath my TV and use that stream functionality, great. That would be a compelling thing for me. If it's more than that, if it's trying to be a, hey, I really want to run games on Steam OS, I think that even with Steam, even with Valve being as strong an engine as they are, trying to drive up the, we're going to put another OS and we're going to get a whole line of publishers behind us on this train and go up the hill against Windows is a really big challenge.
Yeah. Now, they've talked about the controller. None of us, I don't think, have gone hands-on with it yet. But I mean, is that going to be interesting or different?
It could be interesting to see what kind of games, you know, you can actually play on it. Like, if you can play Dota 2 on that thing, and that game for free.
Like
but would you want to play Dota 2?
Well, right, that's
the bigger
point,
question, right?
I mean, like, can you possibly compete with the people who play Dota 2 on PC with mouse and keyboard on that device? That remains to be seen. You know, the developers who have played with it and have talked about it, talk about how good the fidelity is, and even though it's an unfamiliar experience, they seem to really be behind it.
It's something different, and I think, as you guys have said, Valve's got to show what's going to be unique or different about this. But, you know, Steam is a massive platform on the PC. I mean, the sales they do and sort of the business side of it is very successful. And I think that's the thing that, if anything, it's going to sort of scare the other console players into really getting their sort of online marketplaces in a much better spot.
And I think Garnet said it right. I mean, this could be a 10-year project.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter how they do out of the gate. If they have a vision in 10 years that there are no consoles, every game is a PC game, every game flows through the internet to your TV, through this little box, that works for me.
What did we think of Steam when it first launched? I mean, there are some very good forward-looking people there who know what they're doing, and they have defined the digital marketplace for games so far.
No, it's exciting to think that, you know, that's going to, I mean, Valve certainly has the capital and the backing.
And by the way, they could say Half-Life 3 will launch on the Steam box and will come out a year later on PC and console, and they'll only sell 10 million Steam boxes while everybody else
So
wins.
is that, I mean, do you think in the net, we're entering this new generation, it used to be, you know, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo we'd always talk about. You know, is it now Sony, Microsoft, and Valve? I mean, there's talk, you know, will Apple do something? I mean, do you think, is there going to be another sort of entrant that's going to, you know, emerge over the next few years here?
The other guys, other than Oculus Rift, I mean, the other guys are all, you know, mobile games, getting a mobile game to your TV, so it's Ouya type jam, you know, not jammed out. What's shoot?
Game Stick?
Game Stick, yeah. It's a Game Stick. I don't know where I got jammed that on. Jasper, I'm thinking Jasper. Jasper Smith is the guy. So it's that. So no, Valve is the only company audacious enough to actually think they could take on Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo and win. Right. And they actually can. But they're not going to the first go around.
Because you see now Apple, even with some of these games, you know, on iPad, you can, you know, eventually put them on your TV. I mean, do you think that's ever going to turn?
I'd actually say Amazon's more likely than Apple.
There's rumors that they have a console.
Well, this new Kindle is more powerful apparently than an iPad. Right. Why? What the hell are you doing on this thing? Yeah. Right, but
I think we know why, because obviously Amazon has aspirations to be the Apple-like portal. It has, you know, we're going to have the hardware, we're going to have the software, we're going to have the marketplace.
Right.
And they
no,
have
I think
all
that's
those
right.
places, and they're obviously
and they're investing in software, unlike Apple.
Right, and they have, you know, Apple's got a ton of resources, but Amazon has a CEO that absolutely has this vision, and I don't think Apple's CEO does. So I think Apple is trying to sell hardware. I think Amazon is trying to become a solution for everything we do, including, I mean, all entertainment. So they've got books, they've got movies and streaming, and they would wish they had music. I think games is natural.
Well, there's rumors that they were going to have some type of Android console this holiday season even, right?
That might happen, but I don't think the Android console is the solution. It's the Steam box type console that plays bona fide, you know, core games. And I think Amazon will beat Apple to that. I don't know if that's not coming this Christmas.
So is this, a question for all you guys, is this, you think, the last console generation? I think Michael Pachter said that at South by Southwest, that this could be the final generation of, you know, consoles. Agree, disagree?
I think Nintendo might have another one in them.
Yes, I think that's right.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know why we would necessarily get rid of them if there's still a value proposition on the hardware side.
Everything's streaming to us through the internet.
I mean, if we can inhale them, like the PlayStation 9.
What we think the Steam box is going to morph into in 10 years, the Xbox One may morph into in 10 years, and the PS4 may morph into. And when I said last console cycle, I really think about it more like I think about 1080p TV. Right. Yeah, we have 4K and 8K, but we're going to have 1080p a long time. But you didn't buy the last 1080p TV you're going to buy. You'll buy a new model that's bigger screen and does more stuff. I think you're going to see this generation a lot of models of Xbox 4 and a lot, or Xbox One.
I can see. Well, I've always been wondering when they're going to do that, because I remember even with Xbox 360, you know, they didn't have an HDMI port in it, and the initial ones, and then they added it. And I was always wondering, when are they going to get like an iPhone or like a car, where every year there's going to be a new model? And I could see every year there'll be a new Xbox One
and
model.
The other innovation, because I keep seeing these things, is these dongles that plug into televisions and will be like a little
TV.
Yeah, and it's essentially an Apple AirPlay kind of dongle. But why wouldn't you build that in? It's a software patch, the PS4, the Xbox One, turn every TV into your house as a receptacle.
It's like that Vita TV thing that's
right, it's going to happen. Right, it would be Vita TV, right? So it's going to happen. And so, you know, Steambox has to compete with that. I just think they're going to iterate and iterate and iterate. This is going to be a 10-year cycle. when we're doing the 17th year of the bonus round,
Yes,
we'll come
exactly.
back and we'll talk about that.
I don't know. I see a lot of room for disruption here. I look at the advances right now in the Internet of Things. I look at all of the miniaturization that's happening. I don't see us sitting here 5 years from now and looking at a console landscape that looks the way it does today, especially not from a hardware standpoint. I mean, if you go and look at like some of the experimental stuff that's been done with Raspberry Pi and with the stacker chips, there is an amazing change that's starting to already happen, by the think tank type people. That when that comes into mainstream, could make it a tremendous shift, could be a big disruptor that really changes the way everything operates. And do we need, I don't think we'll even need a box that size anymore.
Right, that's what I meant, like the big
completely
hulking,
deprecated.
yeah.
It'd be like, why did I even have this big VCR underneath my television?
Well, and that's why, like, that box should be your PC. And it should be able to route, or it should be, or your server. And it should be able to route to anything with a tiny device. And you really, I mean, you remember the days of the internet when you actually had to wire each, each monitor, each CPU to the internet. And the idea that everything is wireless now, it's going to happen. iPad is controller, and why not?
I mean, we're probably maybe 2 or 3 years away from everything, literally everything, talking to one another when you're in range, with whether it be near field or Bluetooth low power, but one or the other.
Your games will come with you on your phone or on your whatever device.
I'll walk in and I won't even need to say Xbox hello, because Xbox will recognize that I've walked in, because whatever device I have will have it near field communication.
All
the Xbox
knowing
and the television will know what I wanted.
consoles.
But that's really not that. That's no longer sci-fi.
I have that now with my car.
That's like, it's right here.
If I walk up to my car,
Hello,
the doors
Mr. Pachter.
unlock. No, the doors unlock. I don't have to unlock the door.
It's amazing.
If I walk up, it knows I'm
Michael
there.
Pachter lifestyle.
Nice
I love
All right,
that.
well, we'll leave it on that with Pachter's car. That's it for the bonus round. We'll see you guys next week for an all-new episode right here on Game Trailers.